Okay, hello again. You can't see me, but I'm here anyway. I haven't done a tarot video before, so I'm going to give this a blast. It's a pretty weird reading. The readings I've been doing lately are mostly no question spreads. Like, just I got into this notion of just the cards read your aura or read your presence, and just kind of advise you on a counselor type basis. So I've done this little setup for the tarot. It's the first one. A little intro into some of the ways that I read, and then I'll get on with the spread. I will do a more introductory video on the way I approach tarot generally. So this will be a bit of intro and a bit of a specific spread, and just this is the beginnings of a spread. Anyway, odd kind of anecdote to begin with. There's this, I keep seeing this UFO, let's just call it that, in outside of my window. It's usually like 12:30 to 2ish in the morning. And I'm wary calling it UFO, unidentified object, or I thought it was just a very strong star or something to begin with, but I kind of ruled that out of my perspective on the thing. I don't usually have this type of thing happen to me, so it was a good, and at the same time I wanted to get back into question-led spreads for the tarot, so this was a kind of good opportunity. I often leave spreads around for a few days, and this is the case with this one. I just let it lie for a couple of days. In fact, the funny thing is that the object hasn't been around that much the last couple of nights, 2 to 3 nights, so this is kind of more from middle of last week, something like that. The spread itself is probably, I've left it for maybe 2 or 3 nights. Questions are tricky. You've got to be very clear and specific. Tell me about is a tricky one. I do use it, and in this case I've used it, so I've said, tell me about the quote UFO outside my window. What I'm seeing anyway is quite a bright yellow light that's for the most part fixed in the sky. It doesn't move around, but then sometimes it seems that there are 2 lights conjoined and then slightly separated, so that you can just about discern 2 lights, and it's by no means close to me. This is quite high up in the sky, but it doesn't have the attributes of a private plane or any of the things you would rule out. So it's a bit weird. Of course, when I pulled these things, the first thing I noticed was the yellow, because that is almost what I'm seeing. If you can pick that up, I'm picking up 2 lights, but I don't see the red. This has got, obviously it's got red in it, but that was quite weird when I saw that, because like I said, when I do see it with 2 lights, it kind of has that, I'm not sure if you can pick that up, it does have that quality to it with the yellow anyway, not with the red, which is interesting. I've also kind of struck upon my favourite card in this deck, which is the Ace of Wands. I just love this card, and I love it most in this deck. By the way, this is a Piemontese deck from Il Meneghello, Milanese card tarot maker. So I'm using this deck a lot at the moment. Yeah, so let's get into the reading a bit more. The way I generally read is in 3s. So I would be reading, I would take a deck and I would split it into 3 and then put the 3 stacks down and then read off the top of each stack. In this case, the 2 of wands you can see to the left there jumped out in the shuffle, so I kept that separate, which I generally do. It doesn't happen that often, but I got the 2 of wands there. So anyway, the reading, as you can see, 2 of wands, ace of wands, and then the 2 of discs or coins. When I'm writing, I tend to use the Italian for these just because I'm studying Italian and it kind of keeps me in that mindset. Okay, so there we go. What else did I want to say? Yeah, this is a question-led spread, so it's unusual for me at the moment. I do refer to booklets to other people who've made cards. I don't always refer to the booklets from the cards I'm using. Obviously, it's just like a data source. The 2 booklets I've got here are Payne-Towler's Tarot of the Holy Light, which is another deck I have with me, and then this is the CBD Tarot de Marseille, which I'm not using either here. In fact, I don't think this deck came with any booklet. So I tend to use these. Payne-Towler's more esoteric, and Yov Bendov, the guy that made the CBD Tarot de Marseille, is a bit more kind of up, a little bit generalistic sometimes, but kind of up and not too negative. So I kind of have these at my disposal. Aces are always the beginnings of something, and I kind of follow some of the English esoteric school, so you'll feel that in the way that I read these. So let's have a look. Magic. I kind of, this is like the primal magic card, it seems to me. Seed of fire and magic and mystical value. I'll get into what Yov Bendov and Payne-Towler say in a minute. I just want to establish something of my own to begin with. Dualism 2. Dualism, dual perspectives within the aura of magic, let's say that much. Possibly a new perspective, but it's only just in its beginnings. I'm looking at the 2 now when I say that. So we got 2 2s, which is interesting. Two of magics, let's say, and 2 of manifestations or materiality, cross-referencing each other here, and then the 1 in the ace. The reason we have a space here is I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep going, because what I often do is I clarify from the first 3. So if I take a stack of 3, which doesn't exist here, I'm probably just going to, if I want to do anything to the left, I'm just going to pull from the central, which is something I sometimes do. I'm just trying to get that lamp head out of the way. I don't think the light's actually making much difference here, but let's try and have it a little bit more out of the way. So, and I'm going to intersperse their feelings on this one. So this is the first booklet. I'm pretty much improvising from the beginning, as I would if I was just doing a reading on my own. Wands. So Yov Bendov has got creative momentum, active sexuality, strong impulses, energy and drive, life force for the ace. Beginning of growth, dispersing one's efforts in different directions. Okay. I still think this is just so it's the physical card of the three, but it's also got the lights in somehow. Okay, Two of Wands. Crossroads, several options or ways to choose from. Every course offers benefits. A brief encounter with someone going his own way. Blocking an opponent's line of advance. Not sure that related. I have read through some of these definitions before. Let's just stay in the same booklet for a sec. Two of Discs. Duality, two options or two elements. Again, similar to the Wands. Collaborating while keeping distance. This is interesting. Collaborating while keeping distance. So is there some communication between me and this object, is the question. A winding road advancing in complex ways. Recognition and acknowledgement. You see, that to me seems a little bit closer to my initial feeling of the thing. Particularly, and this is what I do when I write down definitions, is I underline the ones that are specific to the way I read the cards. So collaborating while keeping distance. By the way, this is the Two of Coins, just to be clear. Collaborating while keeping distance. Recognition and acknowledgement. So there's something in the sky that is asking for my collaboration, possibly. Recognition and acknowledgement. Okay, that's interesting. Another, back to the anecdote itself. There was a few days where this thing didn't move at all, so of course you become skeptical that your eyes are playing tricks on you. It's a very bright star, or is it something fixed? Do you know what I mean? Your sense is that the movement of the thing is the thing that lets you know that it's something being moved by someone or some entity. Okay, so that's your Bendov on those cards. For me, the central card, he doesn't really explicate very well, the Ace of Wands. It's a beginning. I'm going to go into the numerology of the thing. I have a personal numerology that I use, but just give me a minute. I'll come back to that. Okay, so that's your Bendov's take. This is Christine Payne-Towler's. I'm just kind of beginning in tarot. I've only been doing this, well, I've actually been doing it a year. It doesn't feel that long, but so I like to have ideas to bounce off. Ace of Wands, energy, birth, fresh start, willpower, ambition. Okay, still a little bit vague for me in this context. Two of Wands, spirited. This is more specific. I did read through this stuff before. Spirited exchange, sparring partner, fascination, light and warmth. Yes, I didn't finish my anecdote, sorry. The thing was fixed in the sky for a few nights, but then it did actually, within the space of one evening particularly, when I was outside having a smoke, I saw the thing fading in and out. It was just in the sky, and it would disappear, and then it would fade back in. And this happened like at least 4, 5, 6 times. I couldn't tell if it was straining in terms of like power or something, or it was actually using that as a message or something, like a personal thing. But it was very interesting anyway. So I thought that I'd stick the clarifiers in ad hoc now for the camera and then see what we can see. So all I've really got for the central card, the Ace of Wands, is like this sense of something new and possibly strange. Seven of Swords to clarify the Ace. just keep that on screen there. Alright, and then to clarify the two, this is interesting. L'eremita, the hermit. Rovesciato, or this is inverse. It's kind of interesting. The hermit is aloneness or some kind of hidden esoteric value, possibly, but reversed. Could that be disclosing something that was hidden? It's interesting. So, do I want to clarify the two? Yes. Knight of Spades. Knight of Spades. Interesting. The Knight of Spades has a sword. The Seven of Spades obviously has a central sword here. The Knight of Spades sword is pointing diagonally upward. You'd like to think it was towards the two, but it isn't, is it? Luckily I do have enough space on the screen if I want to give myself more room here. Is he revealing anything? Is he not? The two is this perspective. It could just be me and this object, the two, in some compact of magic or something of that order. I'm going to do another clarification to put next to the two, just because that sword is kind of inviting me, and I will get back to the singular readings on that bottom row in a second. This is interesting. We got another knight, so we got two horses as well, which is interesting. Two horses is in the Chariot card, by the way, which is not here, but I like to kind of tie things down to the major arcana. I hope everything is on screen now. We don't have as much light as I would like, but anyway, there we go. So we've got the, I'll just pull all this down a little bit. Yes, interesting. What do they say about the hermit inverse? Inversed. Long struggle to arrive at anonymity, eccentric, left alone, deliberate mystification. Deliberate mystification is probably what I would go with there, because this object is pretty indistinct in terms of its possible intentions towards me. But I still think I want to put some other meaning onto the hermit reversed. A closed and reclusive attitude, isolation, loneliness, fixed ideas, excessive caution and suspicion, critical approach, looking for defects, hidden and denied desires. A lot of that doesn't interest me. A closed and reclusive attitude, isolation, loneliness. This is interesting just because, you know, a lot of that time this thing didn't move at all, so it wasn't willing to kind of show me that it was in any way alive, in any way I could kind of recognize. And yet by the fourth or fifth night it did kind of fade in and out, as if to kind of say there's a kind of independent power behind this and I'm choosing to shut it out and then bring it back up again. So that's more of a signal like thing. Also the cup of the knights interests me because you got that yellow, you got the two lights in the discs, You got the two lights to me. I mean, the yellow is very important because I'm seeing yellow from the thing. I mean, that's all I'm seeing for the most part. I do see other colours that kind of ray out from that central yellow light. Whether that's simply a trick of my perspective or not, I don't know. But the point is that it's a yellow light, and possibly two yellow lights. And then we have this yellow light, or at least the cup for me is the yellow. So we have the one yellow light and the two yellow lights, and the one yellow light is on the left hand side and the two yellow lights is on the right. Cups is social, so it means meetings. What is the knight looking at? He's kind of looking off into the distance. Is he looking off to his left? Slightly. But he's not acknowledging the two central cards here. He's looking up at us. The two central cards are still fairly mysterious. The 2 and the 2. 2 lights, 1 light. 2 points of perspective from whatever supposed vehicle and from myself. Then the 1, but the 1 seems to me to be more of a conceptual principle, a surprise and a beginning. This is as much as I can pin it down to for the ace again. Okay, so let's get into the clarifiers now. What is the 7? I have some of these memorized, but I don't remember the 7 of spades particularly well. Self-discipline, preparedness, research, pattern recognition, work smarter, not harder, hope, advancement. Recognition. You've seen something that you don't normally see. The sword in the 7, pointing upward, corresponds to the central vertical pointing object in the ace of wands. So these two are similar. Are they asking me to add a further card above the screen here? I'm going to have to move this thing around a bit. If so, I'm not sure. I'll just leave it for now. So, Hermit, something hidden, necessarily undisclosed. Aloneness coming into light, possibly, or intentional seclusion. It could be more like the upright version of the Hermit. I don't know how much light you're seeing on these cards now. I hope this will do for the video. Anyway, Knight of Spades. Sorry, not spades. I say spades because I always think spade, but it's swords, right? Attack, restless mind, experimentation, prankster. You see, there's not that much pranksterism because there's no movement in the thing, so it's not like the thing's appearing and going, hey look, I'm going to make a circle shape, or I'm going to jump around and move around the sky. It doesn't seem very tricksterish and fun-loving to me. It just seems distant, very vaguely curious, and that's about it. If the thing is actually a UFO. I think it's something in process that may just be necessarily indistinct for the moment. The more you read, I tend to have this thing, everyone reads differently, right? But I tend to have this thing where the more cards I have, the more complex it gets, because I always spend a lot of time on each card. Knight of Cups, anyway, from Christine Payne-Towler. Troubadour Bard, former fighter, returned from far travels with stories to tell. Heart's Home. This has come up in other readings for me recently, which is interesting. Heart's Home. There is this theory that you could be from UFO families in past reincarnations, or you might have other spiritual families that are not your physical own in this incarnation. Is that anything to do with it? Heart's Home. Far travels, well, if you're in a UFO, the assumption is that you can travel fairly far compared to human conventions at the moment. A former fighter returned from far travels with stories to tell. Interesting. That might be the most illuminating definition from her in this spread. 2 horses, 2 wands, and 2 lights. 2 horses. 2 wands. Wands is air, no? Air, sky. 2 horses. The 2 horses are the 2 lights. It says pranksterish in the Knight of Swords definition. Is it that even within this supposed vehicle there are 2 entities with different attitudes to life, i.e. one that is more stalwart and fatherly, and the other one which is more tricksterish, and the stalwart, sober side of the thing is the more prevalent. Possibly that's why it's in the top row. And then Knight of Spades is pointing above him as if he's the authority figure. But Knights are good because they're kind of the pioneering cards. I've set up a system for the royal cards which is different in numerological value to the way most decks are set up. I have after the 10s I go for Queen, King, Knight, Messenger in that order, 11, 12, 13, 14 for the numerology. So let's get into a bit of numerology. I don't know, 7, 7, no, I'm desperate to get to the numerology, but let's get to the 7 first. 7 of Swords for Yov Bendov. Sharpness, a focused and determined attitude, concentrating on a clear goal and doing what it takes to reach it, winning a fight with the odds evenly balanced. Self-discipline. Oh, we've done the Christine Payne-Towler version. Preparedness, research, pattern recognition, work smarter, not harder, hope, advancement. Did I read that already? Jesus, my memory's terrible. Self-discipline, preparedness, research, pattern recognition, work smarter, not harder, hope, advancement. That doesn't do much for me. Advancement, yes. Is this a kind of relationship that will be ongoing, or is this thing not going to turn up in the coming weeks? That might be another question, but I'm going to leave that for another spread. It's getting complicated enough. Alright, I'm going to clarify this, which was a weird decision because I don't have any space. This will be the last clarification. You can't see that yet. Hold on. Can we see all of this? No, I've got a terrible I've got a terrible slant of light across this. I hope you can catch all of that. La ruota. The wheel in reverse. That's pretty crazy. I really don't like that card when it's reversed because it's so hard to figure out for me. There's certain cards I just feel more equipped to deal with. You got them all in there, yeah? So I just moved everything over. Let's just get something to grab a hold of. Parade of changes, unexpected turnaround, sudden recombination, merciless outworking, dizzying churning. Parade of changes and an unexpected turnaround, sudden recombination. So this kind of has this revelatory quality to it. If I was to read into that for Christine Payne-Towler. Yeah, unpredictability, surprise, unpredictability, surprise, the power of magic. Something that is fatherly, intrepid, pioneering, sober, not given to childlike play too much. This guy seems to be more playful, but he's pointing at him saying, I'm a kind of being, he's my authority, so I can't be too childlike. This could be my ego, because I don't know what's going on. Hold on, can we see that? I've got a real weirdness going on in terms of light here. Hold on a second. Anyway, it's not too bad as I thought. Yeah, I don't know. So, surprise, unpredictability. The two is the perspectives. This could refer to simply the light's physical manifestation, but I think this is more like I'm hiding a little bit because I don't know what the hell this thing is. The question with these is it the upright meaning to the nth degree, which could be a negative in this case, or is it more like the opposite of the hermit, which is being very open? I'm not sure how to read that one. Yeah, I think I pretty much got it though. Let me just read the 7 again. We've also got a lot of lights here. We've got a lot of circles, right? Circle. 2 circles. Alright, numerology. As I say, my system is a little bit different to other people's. Night would be 14. I'm going to calculate for the initial 3 cards on their own as well. Maybe off camera, just for my own devices. 14, 16, 17, 19, reduced, which is 10, which is La Ruota, which is the 10. So you've got La Ruota and then La Ruota, the wheel, and the wheel. This is the wheel, and this is the wheel. In summary, this is the wheel in detail. $14, $21. What is that? Rubbish at maths. 35. And 9 is the hermit. 44 reduced is 8. Justice, no? I read justice for 8. I kind of go with the old system. Justice. So, going from the top, just with the numerology. La Ruota, the Wheel of Fortune, central line, Wheel of Fortune. Wheel, and what did I say for the last one? Justice, which can't be reduced. 8. Wheel, justice. Interesting. So for me, this is the more to do with what may happen with this UFO in the future. Justice, divine justice. Am I going to learn more information and get more clarity on this or not? Read the 7 again. Think of one's own idea of the 7. I need to get to the bottom of the 7. Sharpness, focus, determined attitude. 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. 8 little flames coming off our wand. And then the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. L'amore. In the majors. I'm not going to get too in depth with the numerology today. 1, 2, 3 creatures on the wheel. Creatures, men. 1 creature, 2 men. Creature on the wheel, that's kind of interesting. Creature makes you think of, alien. But I'm kind of intent on keeping this shorter, so I don't want the reading to go on. Is there anything else to say? These 2 entities that I have in my supposed UFO, this one is looking out at the other attributes of possible vehicle. This line is the vehicle of the thing, or maybe everything is the vehicle here. This is telling you about the characteristics of the other entity. He's keeping his back to sharpness, so he may not be of a competitive intelligence to his counterpart. Self-discipline, preparedness, research, pattern recognition. Maybe lack of self-discipline here as compared to here. And he's got his back to the Hermit reversed, which could be timid revelation. Let's put timid revelation for that card. That suits me. Timid revelation. It's hidden. It's not really ready to reveal itself because it's shy, maybe. How many cards do we have? 8, which equals the 8 of justice along the bottom. So there's a tension there between 1, 4, 8. 1, 4, 8. Okay, I think that will do me for today. If there's any updates on this spread, I might add another video. But it's a good way for you just to see how I deal with the cards in my own stumbling manner. Yeah, I might do more of these ones. And if I have anything else to say about UFOs, I could put it in another video. Okay, cheers for your attention. Have a good one.